Yeah, I absolutely love living close to the beach. To me, that is something that, because my hubby's in mining, I never thought we would ever live close to the beach, which is just incredible. So I love beach life. I love um, the very little stress that you have here. I love the way that it's all good and no worries.
I'm Dr. CHAMONIX Blanche, ex-corporate and academical, turned CEO and board member of several companies and mother of 4 little extraordinary kids. But it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the know-how, and the time to focus on designing and really going after the life that I so wanted to live. A life of freedom, of fairness, and of being fair dinkum to who I really was and what I wanted to get out of this fleeting time that we have on Mother Earth. Fast forward to many lessons learned and moving halfway around the world to the most amazing country, you'll see the life that I now live. One that gives me more safety and freedom than I ever thought would be possible, and that really only existed as a daydream while I was living in South Africa. I created CHAMONIX TV to give you true spot advice on how you can also live a life in this amazing country, and so that you can see how another couple like us now live in Australia with 4 little kids hearing down under. And I'll be providing you with step-by-step strategies so that you can make your Aussie dream a reality too. If you're a keen future Aussie who's looking to create a life that excites you and offers you safety, freedom, and opportunity, you have come to the right place, my friend. Welcome aboard.
The solo drive to migrating to Australia can be pretty lonely, especially when you hit a bumpy part in the road. Joining our one-of-its-kind course where migration specialists teach you all things needed to be able to get visa ready, get a job, and make your way to Australia as soon as possible, as well as having a supportive community, can be the make or break of reaching your destination here in Australia. Now, Migration Made Easy is opening its doors again very soon. If you're ready to find your dream life and land that first Aussie job sooner, Migration Made Easy is the place to be. Join the waitlist and you'll receive some juicy bonuses when the doors open. Secure your place at chamonixtv.com.au/waitlist. Hi, Rethamari. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Hello, CHAMONIX. It's such a pleasure to join you on this beautiful afternoon. And I'm very well, thank you. Excited to talk to you and everyone who's interested in listening.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to hear your story. But first, I've got to ask you about your name, Rethamari, which is the Afrikaans way to say it. How did I pronounce your name here in Australia?
Well, most of the time it will be just Rita. So I just go Rita and it's easy, Rita.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. And how long have you guys been in Australia for?
So we arrived like end of 2018 on the 30th of December. So just before New Year's 2019. So it's just been over 3 years.
3 years. So do you feel like you've settled in by now?
Well, it was a bit of a different 3 years, seeing as 2 of them were COVID years. So it was a bit different than we planned it to be, because one of our main ambitions was to travel a lot, which was cut a little bit, but we've settled in very nicely.
And that was directly from South Africa to Perth, you said? Yeah?
Yes. So we've had some wonderful experiences. After I studied, I lived in London for 3 years, that typical working visa holiday thing that you do. So as a teacher, it was absolutely a wonderful experience teaching in England. Traveled a lot, seen a lot of the world, and it also opened up my eyes to a lot of opportunities that came up later in life. We had a secondment, which means in and out to China when we had very small children. So the one was 15 months old and the other one 5 weeks old. Wow. When we went to China. Lived in Shanghai for 2 years. I think if you can survive that, Perth is just a breeze. So,
absolutely.
Beginning 2018, there was a lot of reshuffling in my husband's business in South Africa. In Johannesburg, we lived in Alberton, and they transferred head office from Johannesburg to Perth. So quite a few families were being transferred to the head office in Perth, which made it quite easy. We always joke, there's the voortrekker version where you have to do it yourself, pay for it yourself, find out yourself, and then there's the extremely soft landing which we had, which was through the company organizing everything. Still lots of paperwork, but obviously so much easier, and money-wise not such a big expense to us, which was really a blessing.
That's an incredible blessing.
Story.
Yes. Okay. So what does your husband do? What's the company he works for?
He's in engineering, mining. So obviously Australia is quite big on, especially West Australia, on mining. So that's where his company is into.
Okay. So he's an engineer, is he?
He is, but he's more in management.
Okay, so he applied on a engineering management related skill.
No, he was basically transferred. So it wasn't any applications or anything like that. It was just a transfer.
Okay, so are you guys on permanent residency now?
Yes, so we came over on a 482, which is a sponsored visa. And then after a year or so, the company helped us to get a permanent resident visa. I think it's the 186 one. The 189 will be the one you apply for yourself. So yes. We were very lucky, because it came through a month before we turned 45, which is the cutoff date. So but it doesn't mean you can't come when you're older. There's just different avenues.
That's true. Yes, that's very true. Generally, people think once you turn 45, it's the end of the world. Where for many people, it will be probably not. There won't be possible anymore after that to apply. But for some people, they could still apply, and especially if you're in an investor kind of business-related fields, then or if you've got some special talents that you can apply. So
we've had a lot of friends who got visas on the special talent one. So just, in that sense. And then also if you come on a different visa and you earn above a certain pay grade per year for, I think, a few years, then you can also qualify for permanent residency. So these avenues, I think if you want something to happen, you can make it happen.
Absolutely. I love your positive spirit.
Yeah, you have to be.
So are you teaching at the moment? Did you come over and started teaching straight away?
So for me, it was a bit of a different journey because I haven't taught for a lot of years, and I had to register in Perth with a TRBWA, which is the registration board here. And it takes quite a bit of time to get registered as a teacher. So for me, just settling us in, I wasn't in too much of a hurry to get into a job myself. I also had to pass the IELTS academic, which can be quite challenging. And so I started teaching in September of 2019. And now I've got a lovely position at Kingsway Christian College as kind of a support role with year threes, loving it because there's a lot of Afrikaans kids and parents around, lots of Afrikaans teachers. It's got a wonderful culture, and being a Christian school, it makes a lot of difference.
Did you teach for year threes in South Africa or in the UK and all the other places too?
So I did teach in London when I lived there. So I did a lot of relief teaching, and then for year ones, which were about 6-year-olds for a year. And then going back to South Africa, my main reason was I had to go and get myself a nice boursier while I was still young enough. So I got that, which was a good thing. And I taught there for 3 years in year fours. Interestingly enough, I taught English as a second language. And then basically after that, we had our children, and we decided once we started a family that I wasn't going to work. But as I said, we moved to China with 2 little babies. So that was quite fun. But while I was there, I took the opportunity to start my own business. So I started a pearl jewelry business. That's such a difficult word in English. Pearls is just so much easier, but because people will often ask, pills, what pills do you sell? And I'm
medicine.
No, pearls. So yes. So I started that, and that was my main focus while in South Africa, was doing my own business, and I loved that. So I didn't really go back into teaching while I was in South Africa, mainly because it's a tough job with small children, and I thought being a housewife with a business was just a wonderful opportunity. But coming to Australia, teachers are seen as a very good profession. It's well paid, it's well looked up to, which makes quite a difference. And it was just a great opportunity for me to get back into something that I'm passionate about. So the pearls will happen again, but for now it's back into teaching. So yes.
So did you do the pearls in China as well? Because it's an online business or not?
Yeah, I basically had some agents in South Africa that I appointed, which in other words is family members willing to sell and friends willing to sell, my agents. And then we weren't in China that long. So I started the business in October 2006 and moved back to South Africa in February 2007. And from there, I traveled to China quite a lot, to Shanghai, just to source new products. And it was lovely. It was, so we've been a bit of traveling and internationally for many years. So I think for us, moving wasn't too challenging.
Did your husband also work in China?
Yeah, his business centers there. So he was in, so we mainly just went for his work.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. Yes, because a brave mom. Wow. Taking little kids. And how long between, let me just try and work it out. You gave dates just now. So 2007.
Yes, got back 2007. And then we moved here end of 2018.
Okay. So you had about 10 years.
Yeah. 11 years later. Yes. Yes.
Okay, and when you guys decided to make the move, or when your husband heard that he was going to be sponsored over to Australia, how long did it take from when he heard it the first time until you actually put your feet here?
Yeah, so he kind of got the employment already in May, but my youngest son was finishing primary school, and the older one was he's just in his first year of high school, and I just wanted the younger one to finish his year and not be too rushed. So that's why we came at the end of the year. So he traveled a lot during that time just for work, but I just felt I didn't want to upset our whole family in the middle of the year. So so it basically, we could have already come in May, but we chose to do it in December.
So you stayed behind and sold the family home and packed
no,
up?
he ended up coming to Perth basically 2 weeks of every month. But 2 weeks of every month he was at home as well. So he had jet lag a lot. But you know what? If you want to do it, you have to be brave. Yeah.
So did you then sell at the end, or did you not have a home?
Well, at that stage, we struggled to sell the house. So we first rented it out, which in some ways was a bit of disaster because other people don't always look after your house the way you would like it to happen. So it took us it was actually quite a miracle, because at church we had a miracle offering day, and our prayer for that miracle offering was to find a house to buy in Perth. And we bought a house and sold our house on the same day, which was amazing, because we just bought our house here, and 2 hours later the agent called and said, listen, we've got a buyer for your house. And
that's amazing. I'm sure
the same day.
Every year you will probably be celebrating that date.
Oh, absolutely. So that was about September last year, 2021. So it took us about a year and a half to get our house sold, and obviously we had to drop our price a bit, so you don't always get what you want. But I think moving, you have to come to a point where you cut your losses and you move on. It's very important not to hold on to things because of an expectation.
Yes.
And with COVID happening, a lot of things happened as well, which caused the house not to sell and so on. But so I'm a person who never has a too long-term plan. I think life is too adventurous to have a 5-year plan. It might come in the way of grabbing onto amazing opportunities. So,
That's awesome. Okay, so Perth it is, and Perth is where you're going to stay?
As I say, no long-term plans. You never know. So
I thought I'll pressure you a little bit and see.
no, I think the thing is just this, it's life's too unpredictable.
Yeah.
So, especially with companies in mining, they might decide that it's time for you to move to a different area. And then I'm just, making sure I'm clinging on to hubby. Where he goes, I go. So.
And how about your boys? How do they feel?
Okay, so the boys are now well and done teenagers. They are soon to be 17 and 18. So, yeah, I think the thing with them is we came over just before they turned 14 and 15. It's a very challenging time to uproot your children at that age. I think going to Afrikaans schools, enjoying the Afrikaans culture, it wasn't so easy for them to adjust, although they did a very good job adjusting, but mainly getting into sports teams and getting into, the culture. And then the other thing was to get them into experiencing freedom. They were so used to not being able to go anywhere without me going with them or making sure okay. So it took us almost a year to get to that point where they would actually go to the beach, get on a bus, do things on their own, just because it's just something our children in South Africa are not used to. Because, you will not easily just drop them off at a mall and just leave them. So, yeah, now they're embracing it. 9:30 at night, I might hear, oh, there goes a door, and they might go off to gym for an hour or just going to their friends. And I believe to give them a lot of freedom at their age now. So they don't always ask and say, this is my plans. I love the fact they're just enjoying and embracing what they've got here.
Oh, that's beautiful. So are they Afrikaans speaking or English?
Oh, yes. No, I think because we came over so late, their Afrikaans will always be very strong, and we only speak Afrikaans at home. And for some reason, we really struggle to meet English friends. It's just we've got so many South Africans here that it's almost hard to meet friends from. And Perth is very diverse, so there's not even that many Australians. There's so many cultures, and it's just beautiful. I love sitting and looking at people, especially at Scarborough Market, and you just look at the people and you think everyone's just loving life, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you have. It's just a blend of beauty. So we love that. Yes. So another blessing that we had was that it was tough in the beginning in certain ways. My sister and her family have been contemplating moving to Australia as well. So as soon as our whole thing came through of coming, they decided, well, it's their turn to do it. They had to do it the voortrekker way, which means they had to do everything themselves. But they ended up getting permanent residency even before we got our 482 visa.
Wow.
So it went quick, 4 months, and they had permanent residency. Her husband's in mining as well. And so they came 6 weeks after we did. They arrived in Perth, and now she lives less than 1 kilometer from me. So it is amazing just to have family. I've got a lot of very jealous friends, but it's lovely to have my sister. So the downside of that was our home family having to deal with the fact that we all live together. I think that leaves a tremendous hole in. It's difficult. Losing all of that, it's not easy. So it's making that mind shift to know that if I do this, am I willing to make it work? Because I believe one can be happy wherever you are. It's just basically comes down to a choice and counting the cost.
Absolutely.
It's important to know that if you're very tight with your family, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to reach out, make more friends. I find friendships here are genuine, and you make friends much easier. Moving around in South Africa, I found it harder to make friends sometimes, although church helps a lot because there you've got the same culture and the same heart. But for me in Perth, I've made amazing friends, and we are like family because we've got to be there for each other.
Exactly. I know that anybody who is able to move to another country it takes a certain kind of person to be able to make that move. It's not easy. I always find it rather funny when people in South Africa, or any other country for that matter, but specifically South Africa, say, oh, you guys are running away, you're moving to Australia, you're running away, you're taking the easy way out. And And I know that it's not. It would have been much easier to have just stayed behind. It takes a much braver person to actually pack up and go. And so once everybody is here, you meet more of that same kind of brave people, because this country is made up in such a big percentage of migrants, South Africans and some others as well. And so as you say, when you go to church or wherever it is that you make a friend, the chances are you're going to find somebody who's gone through the same trouble that you've gone through. So what's the best thing for you about living in Australia?
So I absolutely love living close to the beach. To me, that is something that, because my hubby's in mining, I never thought we would ever live close to the beach, which is just incredible. So I love beach life. I love the very little stress that you have here. I love the way that it's all good and no worries. That is really wonderful. And from a teaching point of view, I love the way that children are not as stressed, that there's not that much pressure on children with homework or anything like that. There's a lot of excellent work balance, life-work balance here. And they're very, very specific, or they're very passionate about that. So I love that in the afternoon, on a Monday afternoon, I can go anywhere and see children out there playing in the parks, being on the beach, families enjoying life. And the freedom, obviously the freedom is just tremendous. I'm not being ever scared of my children going out at night, whatever time they choose to, and just seeing them flourish, because for them, even high school is not as stressful, and there's so many avenues for them. The world is now their oyster, although we know the world is changing rapidly at this stage. So hopefully, looking forward, there's a lot of opportunities for them here, and it's not all based on getting that very high education. There's so many different avenues for them, and they're not nearly as stressed as they've been in the past. In South Africa with the school system, which was quite heavy on them, and if you don't reach this goal, you won't get work one day. Here, the opportunities are plentiful. So most people I talk to would say, we're just sorry we didn't do it 10 years earlier. But for me, it was timing was just perfect. Or the timing was right. It probably will never be perfect because you leave a lot behind. But for me, it was good. I think the older you come, the older your parents are. So that makes it very difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, you do leave family behind, and obviously friends. Yeah. But you make new ones as well. Not new, you don't make new family. You make new friends
you do.
Who are sometimes as if they're yours. Lovely. Thank you so much for your kind words. Appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too, and enjoy your little ones.
Thank you.
Say the days are long, but the years are short. So enjoy them.
That's true. Thanks. See you. Ta-ta.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. If you had fun, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and then it'll make sure that you never miss a thing. I'll see you same time and same place next week. Bye for now.